Hey, what's up guys? Michael Fisk here, CEO at Photoboxx. I just want to give you some updates on what's going on here at Photoboxx. We've been really busy, a lot going on. We've been all hard at work as we get closer to the launch of the purchase model. For the first time ever, businesses and companies will be able to actually purchase their own Photoboxx and have their own Photoboxx at their own events. If you're an agency, this is really cool because now you can buy Photoboxes and have them for your clients' events, so it's really exciting. It's been high demand for the past few years. We get inquiries every day about it from all over the world, and for the first time ever, we're going to go from just a renting and a leasing model to an actual purchase model where you can own your own Photoboxx. So it's been a big team effort. It's been a big undertaking, a lot of changes. The product's going to a whole another level. Our software is going to a whole nother level. Also last week, or a couple weeks ago, we talked about just kind of the background of Photoboxx and where we came from, and how now today we've done thousands of events all over the world in 7 different countries, and we've been able to work with some of the biggest brands in the world, and it's been really exciting. And that's why we're so excited to be able to offer this purchase model to all these companies that have been asking for it, because now we can kind of take what we've learned, share that with you guys, and now you guys can take and use our product that we've been basically developing for the past 5 years. It's just constantly getting better, and now you can actually take this product and run with it, and we're really excited about it, really excited about the launch. Something else I'm excited about that I want to share with you today is we call it the fringe approach, and it's a marketing kind of strategy that we use at events. It's going to be really valuable if you're an event marketer, if you work at events and you're actually in the experiential marketing industry. This is going to be really helpful. That's something that we've learned over the past few years, and we call it the fringe approach. And so let me go over to the whiteboard, and I'm going to draw for you, draw it up and show you kind of what I mean, and kind of walk you through step by step. So imagine that this here is your event or your activation or your experience, and what happens is a lot of times at these events and activations, there's something very common going on that people understand. Maybe they're handing out free water bottles, so free handouts. Maybe they're doing like face paintings. Maybe they're shooting hoops, like basketballs. So all that stuff is very common. There's a whole long list there. It could be, lots of things. We've seen them all, and there's nothing wrong with these. These are great. But what happens is we call this the fringe, because this is all this stuff is all fringe stuff. So all this stuff is very easy to do. There's no explanation that takes place. Everyone understands how to get free water bottles and how to get their face painted and how to shoot hoops. They all understand how it works. There's no teaching that goes on. Now with this model, this activation model, you're typically going to see, you might see 200 people to maybe 2,000 people reached, which is fine. That's pretty traditional and common. But what happens is now with social media, we can do much better than that. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is actually a great first step, and I'll explain here why. So if we can get past the fringe and still have this stuff and we're gonna hand out stuff, do face paintings, shoot hoops, whatever. But if we can get them in closer here to the core, to our activation or our experience, we'll call this the core. This is where we're gonna see some exponential reach. So like I said, 2,000 people reached here because it's just whoever experiences that gets the reach. But now imagine if they can experience this and they take photos of it, and then they share those photos on social media. Now we're gonna go from 200 to 2,000. We're gonna go to 20,000 to 2 million people reached because of social reach and just that leverage of people's followers, and then being able to see those posts and that content, and that user-generated content is what we really want. So this core here, these activations are going to be more like social media driven. So Photoboxx is a great example. This fits in perfect to a core activation like this, to where they come in, they use the hashtag, they tag their post on social media, the pictures of them getting their face painted, and now all those people, that users, followers, see that post, they see that content from your activation or your experience, and that's very organic, and it's exponential reach. So we're going to go from 200 to 2,000 people reach potentially to probably more like 20,000 to 2 million people reach, depending on the people that are at that event, how many followers that they actually have. So now if you take away the fringe and why don't we just focus on activations like Photoboxx and get rid of all this extra stuff? Well, that's fine. That's actually pretty common too. However, sometimes this might be a little more difficult because maybe you have attendees that don't want to really jump in and do something that they don't understand or they've never done it before. All they see is people on their phones. There's a little more explanation that has to be given for this to work. Unless they've used something like this before, then that's a different story. Now, if you just take away the core and you look at the fringe, like I said, you miss out on that potential exponential reach. So basically what I'm saying is these two things go hand in hand and they go together really well. And I want to share a couple different case studies with you of some brands that have actually implemented this really well. The first one is actually Subaru, and they've done this at several of their events that we've been at. And what they do is they have t-shirts that they're making there for you, and you can get a free t-shirt as long as you use their hashtag and get a Photoboxx print. So you take that print, go over to the t-shirt making area, show that you use their hashtag, and now you'll get a free t-shirt out of it. So now people see, oh, free t-shirts, that's easy. They've got the fringe concept going, and then, oh, and by the way, use our hashtag, and you can make this will all work together. And now their reach is exponential, huge. So they actually, one event, they had 647 photos printed at this event. They had 422 users and over 200,000 impressions. We went from, like I said, 200 people to 2,000 people reach if they're just handing out shirts to 200,000 people reached because of this right here. So that's a huge deal. Another case study I want to share with you was with a company called BeautyKind. And they did a campaign recently across a bunch of colleges, and they had 9,700 prints, over 6 million impressions. So it was actually over 5.5 million people reached, which is crazy. What they were doing is they actually were doing the free water bottles, so they're handing out free water bottles, but only if you use their hashtag. So they paired these together really well, and they had exponential reach. A ton of people got some cool water bottles. The whole thing worked together really well. And so that right there is the fringe concept, and that's what we're trying to educate all these brands and event marketers on doing, because we found out that it works really well. All right, guys, so that was the fringe approach, or the fringe concept. It's a really good strategy, so hopefully you can take that information, use it at your future events, and just remember that once you draw them in on the outside to your activation or your experience at an event, take them one step further and get to that center core. And that's where Photoboxx can come in really, can be really helpful and get people to engage and have exponential reach at an event with through social reach on social media and stuff like that. I do want to talk also about a couple of objections that we've gotten from people, and appreciate all the feedback. And I want to actually tackle a couple things that people had mentioned to us. But one of the big things that a lot of people asked about was the weight. They said, gosh, there's some other solutions out there and stuff, and everything seems really heavy. It's not very easy to ship. It's not very easy to pack up, put in a car. I do want to touch on this a little bit, because Photoboxx, that's been one of our biggest concerns from day one, is how do we make this as portable as possible, something that we can ship to anywhere in the world and not have to load up in a truck and take 2 or 3 people to unload it. And I remember actually a few years back, before we had gotten to the point where we can actually ship our product around and it was plug and play, I remember telling some people I know, and they asked what was the vision for Photoboxx and with the product, and I remember specifically telling them I want to get to the point to where at any time we can actually take a Photoboxx, ship it to a client, they can get it, use it, plug it in, and then put it back in the case, put a return label on it, and it comes right back to us. And we're at that point. We've been there for a few years now, and it's a great place to be. It's really cool, but there's still obviously a weight issue. The whole thing packaged up weighs about just under 100 pounds. But we have some good news. This new Photoboxx that's coming out that we've been working on is actually going to be about 15% lighter. So it's going to be a significant weight difference. It'll be a lot easier to pick up and carry for people. It'll be more efficient to ship and cheaper to ship. So we're really excited about that. Another thing that people had asked about was being able to change the hashtag anytime and do a geolocation, like a fence for being able to pull tags within a specific location. And so it's a great question. We had some people ask about that. They don't want something that they just they get a Photoboxx and they can't change it. Our system's gonna be very customizable. At any time you can change the hashtag, you can change the geolocation, you can actually set all those parameters before you start an event, which is really cool. Another thing too to talk about customization and being able to have that flexibility is right now the Photoboxx, it's rather expensive to get wrapped, vinyl wrapped, and make it customizable for your brand. and it's kind of a process. It usually takes a third-party company to do all that. With this new release that we're getting ready to launch here, you'll actually be able to swap out the branding on the Photoboxx in a matter of minutes. It'll be about 1/8 of the price, so a huge price difference. Be very cost effective, very efficient, and very customizable and flexible. So let's say you're an agency and you work with a handful of different brands. You can have one Photoboxx or two Photoboxxes, and you can change out those the logos and the vinyl wrap on it in a matter of minutes, which is really cool. All right, so thanks for checking out this video today. Hopefully there's some value at the tip of the fringe concept, and hopefully you'll be able to implement that into some of your events and actually see some increase in engagement. Definitely stay tuned. If you have any feedback or comments, or if you're excited about this launch, let us know. Leave a comment, like this post, share it. But stay tuned, as we are going to be releasing some more information soon.